All right. I didn't realize this was on hold. I was walking around making sure everything was in place, but okay, it was indeed on hold. So, okay. Well, now I'm behind because I saw it was on hold and I panicked and I got everything. I thought I had everything ready, but now I gotta, well, anyways, I'm talking too much. Well, whole purpose of this is for me to talk. You get my point. Okay, we got the comments up. Hello, In Between the Lanes. You're always one of the first ones here. I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you hear that. There's a loud car outside, but I hope you're doing well. Just making sure this thing is fully operational. Yes, everyone. This is the Monday after on a Wednesday. Okay. We keep the name consistency. I apologize for pushing it to Wednesday. Monday was a long, long travel day. I had to come from Darlington back to Texas and just decided to make Monday the tough day. And I mean, literally drove all day from morning to night. Had to try to beat some storms too. And then yesterday just got a late start. And so wasn't able to do this. So figured just rest up and we'll do it today. So here we are. The Monday after on a Wednesday, but obviously crazy weekend at Darlington, fun weekend at Darlington from my side. But I'm curious to hear what you guys thought of the race. I saw a lot of positive response to the actual race itself, from the battle to the lead to the post-race altercation and all that stuff. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'll catch up on comments while you guys tell me what you thought of the race this weekend, or all the races, all three of them. Let me know how you felt about all three of them, and we'll talk about them all. In Between the Lanes, I think I said hi already, but hello. I learned a very valuable lesson after Sunday's Cup race, and that is you do not mess around with Prosper, Texas's own Chris Buescher. Yes, that is true. Do not mess with him. You could see it in his face the entire time. He was pissed off, and he was going to go, at the very least, say something. And he went up to Reddick, obviously let his mind be, his thoughts, his emotions be known, but also gave him a little shove. So for sure, very exciting, very thrilling to be right there for it too on my side. It was like everyone's following him over there, watching him be all mad, and then the instant he throws a shove, everyone just funnels around the two of them. And like, I got my camera recording it, and I'm being like squeezed, but it was so exciting, I didn't even care. So anyways, it was a fun time. Second in fantasy, any throwback schemes? We'll go back to fantasy. We'll look at the fantasy standings at the end or in the middle. Right now, I just want to get caught up. But throwback schemes, Hendrick nailed it out of the park, all four of them. The 24 paint scheme I especially liked, because you guys know I'm a Gordon fan, and that was the first paint scheme I ever saw Jeff Gordon drive in. The 5 car was perfectly done. There's a reason that car won the paint scheme of the year for the throwback. The 9 was cool if you're a Dale Jr. or Chase Elliott fan, and then the Jimmy Johnson rookie throwback scheme was great. Other ones, non-Hendrick ones, I thought that the 45 looked pretty good. I thought the 6 looked fantastic. Trying to think of some others. Oh, the 1 was a beautiful paint scheme. The 3 looked pretty neat. Trying to think. Oh, Suarez has really popped out on the track. That was a good looking paint scheme. Good throwback too to an IndyCar driver, I believe. And of course, with it being the month of May and how big a deal that is for IndyCar, obviously that's a really cool throwback. This is the first I can think of off the top of my head on the Cup Series side of things. So obviously on the Xfinity side, SVG had a really cool throwback to Marcos Ambrose. Someone did a Kevin Harvick first win throwback. I thought that was a really cool paint scheme. Allgaier did a throwback, the winning car. But anyways, let me catch back up to these. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Hello, happy Wednesday to you as well. Cloudy 341 Blade. Finally, yes, we are finally here doing this live stream. So happy to be here, even if it is a couple days late. Happy to be here. Dale Jr. was on Rich Eisen show, but didn't watch it. Yeah, he's in New York for something. I can't remember what, but he's doing the talk show rounds, I think. I just had a thought that if we go to Mexico, what's going to happen to Kyle Busch since that gun charge? That's a very good point. Very good point. Cloudy 341 Blade. I'm not a legal expert in any country, so you're asking the wrong person, but it's a valid point. Like, how strict or how, like, tough and hard are they enforcing that kind of thing? So I guess we're about to figure out if NASCAR does indeed go to Mexico. Chris Buescher could have given Reddick the stone cold stunner. Yeah, my first thought, he kind of had a pissed off face, and then he started walking over aggressively. I was like, ooh, is he going to punch him? Is he going to shove him? Is he going to put him in a headlock? Like, you got a lot of options here. Or is he just going to get up and point in his face? He still had his helmet on, so the punch, that's ruled out. The shove obviously happened. And you could have done the finger point if you wanted to, or the Captain Insano. Boop. Bam, right in the face, but he opted for the shove. Shove and grab and shake him a little bit. Wanted Kyle Busch to win the truck race. Oh, buddy, your hopes and dreams were crushed quite early. Yeah, I was actually in the press box for that off of turn 3. And there's like 4 of us in there. And, all of a sudden we see a car spinning turn 2. It's lap 2, and everyone's like, oh, what? And then we were like, oh my God, it's Kyle Busch. What is he doing? But yeah, fun fact of the day, the last 2 Truck Series races, the guy who I picked to win has crashed on lap 2. Kyle Busch this past week, Ty Majeski 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so I've had some bad luck with those picks, but hopefully I hope someone here picked Ross Chastain to win the Truck Series race. I did not see the whole Truck Series race just because it ended well after midnight, and I had to be there early the next morning for the Cup Series media availabilities and the Cup Series media bullpen, and I did not want to be tired and groggy and just barely awake for that. I wanted to get some good sleep, and I wanted to be fully alert, so I opted to miss the truck race. Got back for the overtime, but I stayed for the first stage, left after stage 1, got back to the hotel in time for the end of the race. So that's why I didn't see the end of the truck race, but Ross Chastain was your winner. He smashed a watermelon. I love the race. Denny led a lap in 17 consecutive races. Tyson with Kyle Busch. Yes, Denny Hamlin. That's the longest streak of leading a lap by active drivers. Him and Kyle Busch both have that record. But yeah, Denny Hamlin, an uncharacteristic day. I expected him to be top 5 all day, and he was top 10, which, it's not terrible, but by his standards this year, when he's been leading so many laps, as you said, Cloudy 341 Blade, when he's been leading so many laps, and even when he's not, he's running top 5. To see him run 7th to 10th, get outrun by Todd Gilliland, and that's not a shot at Todd Gilliland, just Todd Gilliland in front row equipment, Denny Hamlin, and Joe Gibbs. You guys get my point. It was like, oh, okay, he doesn't suck, but it's a little bit weird. And with Darlington being one of his better tracks too. Made in New Jersey's own Martin Truex Jr. was the only Joe Gibbs Toyota with a throwback. Yeah, and it was the throwback to 2016. So I heard someone on the pit lane when I walked by the Truex car, they're like, oh yeah, none of the Gibbs did a throwback this year. And they're like, I thought Truex was a throwback. They're like, no, that's not a throwback. I swear he ran that last week. And I was like, well, okay. Technically that person was wrong, but the point being, they kind of got a point. It's 8 years ago. Does that count as a true throwback? Anyways, we'll abandon the topic. Chad Fincham did the Harvick throwback. Okay, yeah, it was the 35. I just could not place who was in the car. So thank you in between the lanes for helping me there. As a Gran Turismo fan, it was really weird to see a Toyota sponsor from the 90s on a Ford Mustang. I don't know if I should be disgusted or be neutral as a person who grew up watching the JGTC and that car. Yeah, I mean, I had seen the car that they were throwing back to. I didn't know much about it other than that it was a Japanese-run car by Toyota. But, I mean, it was a really pretty race car. I know that much, and I know a lot of people like that throwback in the racing world industry. So I thought it was a really cool look. It was great to see Brad Keselowski win. Brad, it's been 110 races, and it was with Team Penske. This is his first RFK win. And he's the one that snaps Ford's winless streak. We finally don't have to talk about it anymore. Ford has won a race. It came at the expense of his teammate, Prosper, Texas' own Chris Buescher, but he got the win. He will take it. He talked about it in his post-race interview on the front stretch. He said, yeah, I feel bad for Chris, but, we needed some good luck to come our way, but we've had so much bad luck in some of these situations that, finally, So Brad, from that standpoint, not in terms of the playoffs, just in terms of morale, in terms of, desperately needed a win. And then after the race in his press conference, everyone's asking him all these questions. He's answering, and, he talked about, when he moved to RFK, when he moved to Roush Fenway at the time, before, the ownership part, the RFK part, that, he saw all the comments. He saw all the questions. Why would you leave a top-tier championship program for a team that's won 2 races in 7 or 8 years? Like, that you're an idiot, basically, is what they were saying. And then the next gen arrives, and, Buescher wins a race in that first year. They both make the playoffs in the second year. Buescher makes it to the round of 8, wins 3 races. This year, they're probably both going to make the playoffs, and Brad's already won a race. He talked about how he's seen the comments. That first race, he was out of the 2 car. Austin Cindric wins the Daytona 500. Logano wins the championship the first year he's gone. Blaney wins the championship the second year he's gone. He acknowledged that, and he's like, yes, you bring that up. And sure, I guess I could have won another championship with Penske, but ultimately, he wanted something different. He wanted to be an owner. He liked what he saw at Roush Fenway, RFK, and now, well, he's a Cup Series winner in the 6 car. It's the first time the 6 car has been in victory lane since 2011 with David Reagan. So I didn't get to dump these random facts on you guys on Sunday, so we're doing it all here on Wednesday. But anyways, back to the comments. In today's video, you mentioned 4 of the playoff races are wild cards. What does that mean? Says Powder. Yeah, I guess I should have explained that a little bit more clearly. So the playoff schedule this year, when you look at the schedule of NASCAR tracks in the playoffs, you have your normal races, we'll call them, which is your intermediates and your short tracks, which is going to be Kansas, Vegas, Homestead, Phoenix, Martinsville, Bristol. Those are your normal tracks. But now your wild card races, it used to be 2 of them. It used to be Talladega and the Roval, and these are your not ordinary tracks. They're the minority of the schedule, and they can produce chaos. Talladega and Atlanta are super speedway races where anyone could wreck at any time, and it could shuffle up the points massively. And then you have 2 road courses, Watkins Glen and the Roval. The courses are wild cards is because you can have a wacky winner, and every once in a while wrecks, or someone who's usually really good. The example I use is Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano. They're great drivers. Hamlin's had a fantastic season. Logano's a champion right now below the cutoff line. But, if they went into that first race weekend or second race weekend in the playoffs, Watkins Glen, that's not really a great spot for them to be because they are not great road racers. And so that could be an upset in a sense if they run 19th, 20th. Yes, they have the bonus points, but if they crash at Atlanta, then they run mediocre at Watkins Glen. Suddenly, Bristol, you're in a tight point situation or you're below the cutoff line. Worst case scenario, you're in a must win. So that's what I meant by wild card races. Brad won and got a spot in the All-Star race, says Duke Chronic. Was he not already locked in? I thought if you were a full-time Cup Series champion, I thought you were automatically in. It doesn't matter regardless. He's in now for sure, but I guess I had that wrong. Did you know that Corey Heim is running at Nashville in the 50 car for airspeed? Yeah, I had read that, I think, on my way to the track Friday, or maybe it was when I got to the hotel Thursday night. I don't remember when it was announced, but I missed it. I did not make a video. I apologize for that. It was a busy weekend. But yeah, that's a big opportunity for Heim, obviously. He got a couple of starts in the number 43, and he did all right. Nothing terrible. He kept the car clean. Got wrecked on the last lap at Kansas, but I think it was just a spin, so no real damage was done. But overall, he's done fantastic in the Truck Series. He's won so many races. Should have won the championship last year. I'm going to continue to say that. is probably the favorite, if not the second favorite, to Christian Eckes this year in the Truck Series Championship. He's going to be in Cup soon. He's a very talented driver. He can win at a lot of different racetracks, and he's getting his opportunity. He's going to race at Nashville in the number 50 car, Ford 2311. That's kind of their third car. It used to be the 67, but because Mobil One is having their 50th anniversary, they are switching that number to the 50 for at least this year. I don't know if they'll make that permanent, but yeah, so that's a really big deal for him. That's a really cool opportunity for him. I think he grew up a Denny Hamlin fan, but Corey Heim, I don't know how he's going to perform. I don't know what he's going to do, but it's still a really cool opportunity for him regardless. Crazy how weird this isn't showing. I just got to make sure this thing is operational here. There we go. Cool. It's operational. Crazy how weird. We're about a third of the way through the season, and it's almost over. Feels like the season just started. Man, on top of that, what a freaking season we're having. All across the board, honestly. Cup has had arguably 4 races that have been 10 out of 10. Darlington this past weekend had a great finish, but the racing throughout the day was fantastic. Comers and goers, tire wear made things interesting. Darlington being Darlington, you know, the Darlington stripe, guys getting into the wall, guys getting at each other, tempers were flaring after the race. Kansas was his normal self, 10 out of 10 in the closest finish in NASCAR history. Bristol with the extreme tire wear, you couldn't run 100% because you had to make sure that you didn't run the tires off of the car. That was a 10 out of 10. And then Atlanta was just so chaotic, and then the epic photo finish 3 wide. I would argue that's a 10 out of 10. So in my opinion, there have been 4 10 out of 10 races this year. We've had 13 races. What did you say? A third of the season? So yeah, 13, 14 races, however many it's been. Wow. Just wow. It's been crazy. And even the bad races haven't been horrific. I mean, there's, you know, Martinsville was a rough one, I'll admit. But, you know, we've seen worse Martinsville races on the bright side. Richmond had its moments, but was a kind of just mid race. Coda was... The thing that made Coda intriguing was the late race charge by Bell. The stages killed it, though. So we had that going for us. But other than that, I'm trying to think of like a genuinely terrible race this year. Like an absolute stinker. Like one that I cannot remember a single thing about. Trying to remember. I can't. The worst race this year was probably Martinsville. And it was still probably a 4 out of 10. Which once again is bad. And for Martinsville standards is horrible. But, you know, the worst race this year has been a 4 out of 10. At this point last year, we probably had a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10. We probably had a stinker. So, I mean, it's crazy. And then even in the Xfinity Series always producing beautiful racing. And they had a photo finish at Texas. What more could you ask for? But also the storylines this year. Now we'll get into that later. If you win the All-Star, you're in for 10 years. Okay, thank you, Duke Chronic. I had messed that stat up. So thank you for correcting me. That's good to know for future reference. It's all locked in here now. With how the tires wear out at Darlington, it might have been even better with no segment yellows. Yeah, once again, I've said this numerous times on here. I love the stages because they award consistency. They award speed throughout the race. You know, you used to be back in the day, or not even back in the day, you know, 10 years ago when it was 48 points if you won the race or 45 points if you won the race. You get 1 point for leading a lap, 1 bonus point, and you get 1 bonus point for leading the most laps. 1 point, really? That's all you get for leading the most laps? I never liked that. I still like the idea of getting a bonus point for leading a lap. I think that should still be a thing. Maybe that's just me. But overall, I like that they award consistency. Kyle Larson had top 5 speed, and, you know, he won a stage, so he got some points even though he had a bad result. Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick, even though they wrecked late in this race, they were awarded for their consistency. Reddick won a stage. Buescher had a bunch of stage points. So ultimately, yeah, I like the stage points, but I agree with you. I agree with you, Duke Chronic, that we should not have stage yellows anywhere. I know last year we got rid of them at the road courses, and NASCAR said, "Oh no, the race wasn't great because the cars suck. I blame not having stage cautions." Stupid. What was I saying there? I think we should get rid of the stage yellows. Stages are great. Stages are important. I like them. Just get rid of the stage yellow and everything will be fine. Sometimes the yellow will come naturally. At the super speedways, yeah, they're going to wreck coming to the flag sometimes at the end of the stages. And there you go. There's your caution. But ultimately, I think it's a TV thing now. That is my wild guess. My wild conspiracy is that it's a TV thing at this point, and they're not going to get rid of stages ever. So we just got to buckle up. Cloudy 341 Blade Phoenix. Phoenix, we're talking about races this year, if they've been terrible. Phoenix this year was not as bad as I expected, which I think is why I thought of it as better. Not good. It was still not a good race, but I went into that weekend thinking it was going to be a horrible race, thinking it was going to be the worst race ever. Whoever won the pole was going to lead every lap. There was decent racing. There was side-by-side racing every once in a while. And if you were faster, you could indeed get by. But it still was not good. It was like a 5 out of 10. Maybe a 4.5. So, yeah. I would listen to the argument, though, that you hated it, that was the worst race of the season. But I still lean Martinsville because Martinsville should not be this bad. It's one of the best tracks on the circuit. But the car sucks on short tracks, so we can't do anything about it. It's not a track issue. Never has been. Did you hear SHR might be completely done with NASCAR? Holy crap, man. There are so many rumors going around right now. Here's the rumors that I've seen online in the last week alone. The last week alone, I have seen SHR is selling their charters. That one we've actually talked about for over a month. I've seen SHR shutting down. I've seen Gene Haas is selling his portion. Tony Stewart selling his portion. SHR and Front Row are merging. Noah Gregson's going to the 34. I've seen Trackhouse and Colleague are merging. I am thinking of rumors, okay? None of these are fact. These are rumors I've read online. I have read that, let's see, I hit the big ones. I've hit the SHR. I've hit that one of the owners is selling. Then I've seen the others selling. I've seen Briscoe's going to Stuart Haas race, or not Stuart Haas race. Briscoe's going to the 21 car. Harrison Burton's done. That's kind of well believed, though. Briscoe to the 21. Trackhouse Colleague merger would result in Hemrick getting the boot. Or going back to Xfinity. Maybe not the full boot, but the demotion boot. That would mean Zane Smith and SVG go cupping. That would mean Suarez stays, indeed. Obviously, Chastain. They're never getting rid of him unless he opts to. I'm just trying to think of the silly season market. But it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. If any of these rumors are true, it's going to be nuclear. It's going to be nuclear crazy. But yes, lots of rumors going around right now. So, it's a fun time. Be careful on your sources on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure they are legit. 2 hot takes. Road courses are overrated. I don't know why people want more of them, considering they complain about how the car is. And 2, NASCAR Thunder 2004 is underrated. I can speak to one of those things. The only video games I play are NASCAR 2011, the game on the Wii, Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii, Wii Sports on the Wii, and I have a bunch of other Wii games, and I'll rotate, whatever, Lego Star Wars, freaking Madden. I think I still have that. But point being, I cannot speak to NASCAR Thunder 2004. I know people online are obsessed with it, but I've never played it. So I have zero credibility in terms of talking about that game. As for the road courses, here's the thing with that one. It's a car issue right now. So once we can get the cars better on the road courses, I think we can have some really good racing. I think we overdid. I'll listen to your overrated part. I think we overdid it 3 years ago when we had 7 or 8 road courses on the schedule, but NASCAR started to kind of get back to dwindling down on the road courses. I think the road course schedule in NASCAR should consist of Watkins Glen, Sonoma, COTA, Street Race, and the Roval. Those are it. Those are your 5. Other than that, no. Road America, people are obsessed with. Sorry, you don't make the cut. Daytona Road Course, for some odd reason, want that one to come back. No, there were 0 good races there. I know we only had 2, but I can't think of anything memorable from the Daytona Road Course other than they threw a caution for rain on one turn, and it wasn't even rain. It was like a light mist. What other road courses have we run? Indianapolis Road Course, no. Only run the oval at that one. The Charlotte Roval should be the only road course oval we run. It's the most unique track in NASCAR because we run an oval portion and a road course portion. Other road courses we've run, I already said Road America doesn't make the cut. No new street races. Chicago, try to stick with it as long as you can. If Chicago opts out, then go find a new one. Denver, Seattle, I don't know where they're looking. Denver, I remember Denver was in the rumor mill at one point. Go to Denver. We need to go out west. Okay? There's so many races in the Southeast, and I get that's where the majority of the fan base is. And I'm not saying we should cut those races. We got to keep Darlington. We got to keep Talladega. We've got to keep Daytona. We've got to keep Martinsville, Bristol, all of them. I'm not saying to cut those tracks out completely, but could we just add some more tracks out west? Like we got Sonoma, Vegas, Phoenix, maybe Auto Club if it ever turns into anything. That's it. I think I just named all your west tracks. Well, it depends how far. West of the Mississippi, you got Texas. You got COTA. You got Kansas. That's it. I just named all the tracks west of the Mississippi. So, yeah. I think we need more west tracks. More west. But that's just me. Briscoe to the 21. Yeah, I feel bad for Harrison Burton for sure. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is he just hasn't been performing. But at the same time, I will give him one benefit of the doubt, and that is that Ford has struggled and the Wood brothers have struggled. Burton's had a couple good runs, but, you know, he's young. I do think he'll find a place to stay. I don't think it'll be the Cup Series, but, you know, if he goes back to Xfinity, maybe even trucks, I don't know. But I think Burton can land on his feet somewhere. Just, it's been a rough start to his Cup career. So I feel bad for him. I truly do. It was just really bad timing for him. But, yeah, it's tough. I'm curious to see if they do indeed put Briscoe in that car to see how he does. Will Brown, Supercars now confirmed for Sonoma with RCR. The news was leaked weeks ago, but confirmed today. So Will and Cam Waters both running Cup, SVG only running Xfinity. That's a shame. Yeah, they just confirmed that like 20 minutes before this live stream. RCR did, or Will Brown did. And yesterday it was confirmed that Cam Waters would run at Sonoma. So, yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, seeing the Supercars guys come over here. I really hope they're able to get SVG in that 16 for Sonoma. It'd be really cool for all the Australian Supercars fans to see Shane, to see Will and Cam all racing each other once again, even if it is a completely different series than a different side of the world. But as of right now, I don't know who's in the 16 that week. They announced SVG's schedule early this year, and they did add a race, actually. They added Daytona, which was not on the original slate. So maybe they do. But right now, my guess is Allmendinger's in the 16 for that race. But I can hope, but ultimately I'll be realistic here. I don't think they put him in that car. Nothing against him. It's just, you know, Allmendinger's got his races. He's running. SVG's got his. Josh Williams has his. Derek Kraus has his. And Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon has his too. So, is the McDowell to Spire news, is it on the same shock factor as Lewis going to Ferrari? No. I mean, the shock level, it was out of nowhere for sure, but McDowell is not a big enough name like Lewis Hamilton, and Spire Motorsports is not Ferrari. So, I get what you're going for there, but no, I'm not even going to try to compare the two. Please get rid of the Roval. Let's go back to the Charlotte Fall Oval. I get where you're coming from. This car has been great on the intermediate tracks, and the Charlotte Oval's been great. But I once again say the Charlotte Roval is the most unique track in NASCAR. It is a road course that uses the oval and a road course portion. It's really cool. It's the only road course on the circuit. You can see every single bit of it if you get good enough tickets. It's a very cool track. Just if the car gets a little bit better. I mean, look at those first 3 races at the Roval. 2018, we had everyone driving into turn 1 and dying. Then we had Truex and Johnson. Well, really, Johnson obliterating himself in Truex and Blaney sneaking through for the win. 2019, we had Chase Elliott drive straight into the turn 1 wall and come back and win. 2020, we had a wet weather race. Ty Dillon won a stage at this racetrack. Yeah. Timmy Hill scored stage points at this racetrack in 2020. He finished like 6th. Technically, he was declared for Xfinity points, so he didn't score stage points, but the 66 got owner's points for it. And then, yeah, we had rain in 2020. 2021, we had the whole Harvick-Elliott situation where Harvick kind of just ran out of talent for a second there and wrecked himself after wrecking Chase Elliott, and then he got intimidated. And then we had Larson, same situation as Elliott. You know, he had a mechanical problem early. I think they went a lap down, correct me if I'm wrong, but then he had to drive all the way back up through the field to win. And then the next-gen era hit, and the next-gen car is not good on road courses, so the races have kind of stunk. So, people, I swear the hate for the Roval has come because the last couple races have not been good here. But, guys, remember what we had from 2018 to 2021? It was so good. So fun. But, yeah, for sure, Charlotte Oval is great. The 600 is great, but I feel like it adds more to the 600, that it's the only time we get to go to the Oval. Like, this is your only opportunity all year to win at the Charlotte Oval, to win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And if you don't win the 600, tough. Like, that's it. This is your only opportunity, but maybe that's just me. Let's see. I think I missed a question earlier. In between the lanes, yeah, I said Kyle Larson testing at Indy. Yeah, they've had a lot of rain in Indy. IndyCar have their race on the Indianapolis road course this past weekend. Yeah, I missed it. I couldn't even tell you who won. I'm really bad at keeping up with IndyCar. Sorry, guys. My biggest question is, what the heck are we going to do about Southern California? That's a very valid question. Hopefully they get that short track up and running. If not, I don't know. Go back to the football stadium. If not that, then, well, darn, I don't know. You heard Joseph Newgarden to the 21. Man, who are your sources? What was it like asking SVG a question? It was cool. I was sitting all the way in the back of the room. I could see him scanning, so I had to throw my hand up mid saying my name. So other than that, glad I got the opportunity. So thank you to everyone at NASCAR for letting me in. The contact I have, thank you to him for making the phone call to help get me in. But yeah, it was a really good weekend. Let's see here. I have a feeling Priest will go to Gibbs, considering how he was under some comments on JGR IG Instagram post, and considering SHR has a study group that he's no longer invited. No, I don't. I'm sorry, Priest. He's been the weakest of the Stewart-Haas guys. I know he's had some issues that have been beyond his control, but he's been the weakest out of the 4, and just Joe Gibbs, you know, they could have John Hunter. They got Chandler Smith in there. I don't know. I don't feel good about Priest right now in terms of his future. The only reason people love the Roval is because of the chaos, just like the Indianapolis Roval. People loved it because of the chaos, and the second year later, we all noticed it's not good because of the chaos. No, I disagree with that. I never liked the Indianapolis road course. I always thought we should have stayed on the oval, and the racing there was not even that great. Other than that, I mean, it wasn't even that great. Last year was the best race, and that's because it was strategy. Give me a second. I got to go do something real quick. Apologies. It's getting hot again in Texas, and, well, it's just hot in here, so. Anyways. What were we talking about? I don't know. Alex Palou, the Indy Grand Prix winner. Okay. Cool. I don't know what else to say on that. We took the 2 Mile Auto Club for granted. We noticed how the next gen performs amazing on these tracks, and now everyone wants it back. Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's been the story of NASCAR. You know, they get one car that's really good at one track, and they're like, oh, we got to shift the schedule that way. And then the next car comes around and it flip-flops. It's like, oh, we got to shift back and just shift back and forth and back and forth. I don't know, man. It's confusing. It really is. Justin Haley, top 10 at Darlington, the only non-super speedway finish for where racing. Yeah, that was crazy. So here's the thing. So obviously I was on pit road post-race, you know, recording Brad Keselowski's team's reaction, the whole Buescher Reddick thing. I have no idea what happened outside of Brad Keselowski winning. I couldn't have told you who finished second. I couldn't have told you who finished third, fourth, and whatnot. So I go into the media center to upload the fight video. And I'm sitting there, I'm uploading it, I'm changing the thumbnail, I'm making sure I'm getting, you know, the monetization, all that stuff. And so while it's uploading, I'm like, okay, I can breathe. This happened, and it's chill. And they got timing and scoring, they got the Fox broadcast, and they got something else on the TVs in there. So I look at the timing and scoring, I'm like, Keselowski won. Gibbs second, okay, that makes sense. Barry third, I was like, how did Josh Berry get third? I know he restarted fifth, but, you know, I thought he would have faded. Anyways, you know, great day for Berry. Fourth was Denny. I think it was Denny. And I was like, okay, yeah, you know, Denny's great here. Cool. Briscoe fifth. I was like, oh, you know, that's really good for SHR. You know, great for them. Double top 5. And then we get a little bit more down the list. I saw Justin Haley ninth, and I tapped the person next to me and asked them if that was real. They indeed said it was real. And that was the biggest shock. I was like, how did Justin Haley finish ninth? No disrespect, just a Rick Ware racing car finishing ninth at Darlington. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, man? Just absolute chaos. But that's great for him. That's great for that team. That team, once again, making progress. It's a big deal for them. So great to see them doing that, performing that well. So I was happy for him. I really was. That's a great result for them. Any particular winner you want to see win the All-Star race? Not necessarily. Not in terms of want, but thinking ahead, like who will win. We only have one race on this track, and we've repaved it since, so I feel like it's anyone's guess is as good as mine. But Denny Hamlin's been so good at the short tracks this year. I would probably pick him if I had to make an early pick. Maybe Truex. Yeah, maybe an Elliott. Elliott's kind of good at the short track, so maybe him too. But I'd say Hamlin for now. What were your thoughts on the move made by Reddick? Dumb. Respectfully. Obviously, I've never driven a race car, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so Reddick's, I was in Reddick's pit box, or next to Reddick's pit box, looking at the TV and whatever. And the thing about Darlington is if you're on pit road, there's not a lot of good places to like see the TVs, which is a bit annoying, but it's fine. It's whatever. You're in the pits, so I got no complaints. But that was about the only place that was like a really big TV right next to you. And, Reddick's leading the race. So I was like, or second place in the race. And I was like, okay, that's a great place to be. I'm going to camp out here for most of the day, watch their pits, record their pit stops. I'll post that in a video sometime this week. And I'll just watch the race right here. It's not too hot. If I need to go inside, media center's right there. So, we're watching it. Reddick's team is cheering him on, saying, go Tyler, go get him. And finally, the incident happens. And the thing is, Buescher's pit stall was like 3 away. So, like, I was considering going down there if Buescher was holding on late in this race. But ultimately, this incident happened. And I get why Reddick went for it, because he said in his post-race interview, I thought that was my only opportunity. That's a move you pull with less than 2 to go, in my opinion. Like, with 10 laps to go, I don't get what he was doing. I get what he was doing, but I don't get what he was doing, if you get what I'm saying. Like, dude, there's 10 laps to go. You can set yourself up better. You're clearly faster than him. Think about it more. And I get you want to do a slide job. This is a track you can do a slide job at, but with 10 to go, you weren't even close. You weren't even alongside him heading into the turn. Made no sense to me. And Buescher had every right to be mad. He had every right to go shove him after the race, ask him what he was doing. It made no sense to me. Reddick's got a win in the bag, yes. He's running top 7 in points, so, he could have used the points there, but it was a dumb move. He could have timed that out better. He could have done that better. That was, I don't know, just a really dumb move. And he admitted so. So, I'm not that dumb in saying that's a dumb move. I have a question from a fellow NASCAR fan to another. Do you think our fan base is spoiled and ungrateful, even if NASCAR adds the stuff the fans wanted and they received it and still complain? I think regardless of what NASCAR does, people will complain. NASCAR could have a 36-race season with Kansas, the past 2 races, happening on repeat, just with different drivers, different names, and NASCAR fans would still find a way to complain. They say, oh, man, how dare the 6 car win by 5 seconds at the end of that race? How dare he? Well, because the top 2 wiped each other out, and the top 3 were significantly better than the 4th place car. Like, what? The Kansas finish. Oh, man, how dare Larson door Buescher to try to win a race? What? He was trying to win a race, and he didn't wreck him. Why are you pissed off? So I think regardless, NASCAR fans will find something to complain. To say spoiled and ungrateful, I don't know about that, but they do complain a lot. I think it's the human nature to complain about things. I complain about things, but I think just regardless of what happens, whether we go to Chicago, like if we go back to Chicagoland, someone will complain. And then, if we have a not great race there, more people will complain. So, yeah, people are going to complain regardless. Did you have good seats for the race in the pit school? Yeah. I had access this weekend, which was really nice. So, I just chilled in the pits for most of the race. I went to the 45 pit stall for the majority of the day. I went to the 8 pit stall for a bit. I went wherever there was an empty pit stall next to a car because I didn't want to get in the team's way. So, there was an opening next to the 8. There was an opening next to the 45. There was an opening next to the 17, but I did not go there in time to see anything happen. I should have stayed there late, but there just wasn't a good enough view of the TV. So that's why I picked the 45 for the majority of the day. And when I got hot, when I needed a drink of water, popped over to the media center because it was literally right by the 45 pit stall. So, cool. Buescher built like a lineman. Yeah, he's not a tiny guy. And Reddick is a tiny guy. So that's not a fight that Reddick wants to get in. That is not a fist fight. If Reddick's going to get in a fight with someone, he needs to pick Larson. Larson and Reddick are pretty similar in terms of the size chart, but other than that, those two would not – it'd be a tough fight for them against anyone else. Blaney wasn't happy with Byron. Yeah, that was bizarre. Byron was a little bit over-aggressive there for sure. He didn't do anything egregious. It's just putting it 3 wide at Darlington is always risky. And took out Blaney. Blaney goes up there, lets his displeasure be known. So, yeah, I thought that was going to be the only beef of the day, but boy, was I wrong. There was a lot more. I think Reddick knew the 6 was coming, and it was his best shot. I mean, once again, it's 10 laps to go. If you do that with 2 to go or under, like if he did that with 2 laps to go, there's a lap and a quarter left. That genuinely might have been his last shot. I understand why he did it. If it was the last lap, obviously, you got to go for it on the last lap. And if Buescher got mad, then okay, you would argue, hey, man, it was the last lap. Why are you getting mad at me? But with 10 to go, really, just overly aggressive. Buescher made it 3 wide. What a move. Yeah, so once again, from the 45 pit stall. So I'm watching the TV. And when they'd come in the middle of 3, I'd turn to the front stretch to see them coming. And I saw the 6 and the 45, and I saw some smoke, and then I saw the 17 dive down the racetrack, and I was like, oh, no, Buescher just wrecked himself. And I was like, God, no. And then all of a sudden, the 17's leading. I was like, where did he come from? Like, what just happened, So then when I watched on TV, by the way, when I watched the replay of this race, the highlights, what a call by Clint Boyer. I swear, people are always giving Boyer crap about his call. That was fantastic commentating. The camera work was great. Everyone loves to hate on Fox, but Fox did that perfectly. The camera work was great. The commentary was great. I mean, what a moment. That's like the kind of highlight you send to someone who hasn't seen a NASCAR race. That's what you send them. I mean, it was amazing, everything about it. So, yeah, that was a great move. It was a great move by Buescher. I get what Reddick is saying. Brad was catching him fast. If he didn't attempt to make a move, Brad would have caught him if he never attempted to make a move, but he will be in a losing situation. Yeah, I mean, once again, I just 10 to go. Why are you doing that with 10 to go? Maybe try to get alongside him, to try to put the pressure on him, try to get him to scrape the wall. But full sending it from not side by side with 10 to go just makes no sense to me. So, did you see the new Airspeed shop? It looks awesome, so modern, and probably the best looking race shop in NASCAR. Yeah, I've seen the pictures. It looks neat. It looks fancy. It'd be cool to see in person. So, if you live near Charlotte, once that thing opens up, go for it. I predicted Martin Truex Jr. to win Darlington. Yeah, that kind of went away early after the wreck with Blaney, so. Texas Terry Labonte in the booth during stage 2. I didn't know that. Once again, I didn't see the whole race on TV. I just saw the highlights after the race, but at the track, I did not know that. But Terry Labonte was dressed up, man. He was all dressed up in his old fire suit, or he was in a custom fire suit. Him and Larson looked like, long-lost twins or father, son, something like that. But it was cool to see Terry Labonte really lean into the throwback, and they had some 1996 championship members there, which was really cool. So overall, that was just really cool to see. No commercials for you, my friend? Yeah, no commercials for me. It was a fun time. Always great at the racetrack. No commercials. Oh, I want to do something real quick. All right. Putting the laptop down, so if I miss comments, sorry. As you guys can see here, on the wall, we have our old passes, our media, or parking passes. Got some down here too. So I have my openings to where I want to put the new ones. So I wanted to do that for you, the people, so you could watch it live, so you can watch it happen in real time. But I'm very thankful. We're going to get sentimental here. Very thankful to you all for the support. Very thankful to the people that helped me get this thing, get this media pass, get this access at Darlington, got to talk to a couple drivers, got to witness my first ever NASCAR fight. You people arguing that's not a fight. I'm still counting it as my first fight. But I got a neat lanyard here that I wore all weekend. But the first one we'll put up, the actual pass itself. I got to get a pin out. I also got to not stab myself. That is a goal. All right, here we go. Next goal is to not knock it off the table here and step on it. Thank you all. So we'll put this up here, and I'll try my best not to knock this down. Does that look good? Right there? Right here? I think I'll put it there. But here we go. And it's in. Cool. Epic. Now this other one I opened up space for. You don't really have an option of where to put this. I already made the decision. I just got to decide where I want to put the hole. Parking pass. Yeah. I don't know. It was vertical, which made things complicated for this because all the other ones are horizontal. But parking pass. Just gonna put that right there. Oh, well, that sucks. But all right, just do it right here. Cool. Well, we got some new decorations this weekend. Got a new essential pass and got a new parking pass. So add it to the wall, to the list. The first non-Talladega one. So, yeah, thank you guys again for all the support. We're not ending the live stream here. But thank you guys again for the support. It's been a great 2024 so far for the channel, for NASCAR. So I'm glad I got to go cover a race essentially. But anyways, let's get back to the comments. Who do you think is the big three so far? Probably Hamlin, Larson, Byron. I know Byron hasn't had the consistency he had last year, but he has the wins. He's fifth in points. And then Larson's leading the points, obviously has a couple wins. Hamlin has 3 wins, has had top 5 speed almost every week. So I'd say those 3. That's who I'd say. The commercials were annoying, so I can wait to see if Amazon has any. I'm sure they will. When do you think Ty Gibbs, Martin Truex Jr. get their first win of the season? Gibbs will probably be an intermediate just because Toyota's been so good at these intermediates. Truex, it could happen anywhere. It could be Sonoma. That's a great opportunity for him. Charlotte, once again, a great opportunity for him. Nashville, Truex was great at last year. So Truex, it could be any given week. But Ty Gibbs, I'd lean Charlotte or maybe even Nashville. Maybe Nashville. When you were a kid, growing up, watching NASCAR, did you ever think you'd go to a NASCAR race in person? That's a valid question. I was a kid, so I didn't really think about a lot of stuff. I just thought about, what I watched on TV, had my toy cars or whatever. But I went to my first race in 2010, so pretty quick there. I got to go to a race. So after that, it was like, oh, I want to go to every race, but obviously you can't. But I don't know. I didn't think about it a lot when I was a kid. I was a dumb kid. So who do you think is the best driver from each organization? Define best. Like, do you mean raw talent? Do you mean the best driver in NASCAR? Do you mean like the most consistent? Do you mean all time this year? There's a lot of different ways we can hit this, but the best driver at JTG Doherty right now is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I'm confident in that one. I really am. But for real, if we're talking just in general, talent-wise, Chastain at Trackhouse, Penske, Logano. I'm still going to lean Logano. I know Blaney's young right now and all that, but, I'd see, this is where the question gets complicated because right now I'd probably say Blaney. But in terms of all-time, Logano. In terms of talent, it's close, but I'd probably lean Logano. So that's where it gets tough. RCR, do I have to say it? It's clearly Austin Dillon, guys. No, RCR is obviously Kyle Busch. SHR is a little bit more complicated because Gregson, he's a fast driver. Briscoe's fast. Barry's fast. I think it's one of those three. Sorry, Ryan Priest fans. I've always liked Briscoe, so I might lean Briscoe, but I mean, that's not a knock on the other two. Hendrick's another complicated one because they got 4 great drivers. I'd say they have 3 elite drivers with Byron, Larson, and Elliott. I'd lean Larson, though. Just the raw talent that Larson has is insane. He can genuinely drive anything. He can win anywhere. So Hendrick, I'd lean Larson. RFK, once again, it's complicated because I think Buescher is better right now. But, Keselowski's got the championship, but they both got a lot of talent. Spire, Hocevar, I'd say. We already covered that. JGR, here's another complicated one because Truex, a champion. Hamlin, a Hall of Famer. 3-time Daytona 500 champion, has got 50-something career wins. Truex has 30-something career wins. Oh, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. They're pretty even, I feel like. Because Truex is better at the road courses, which I hold of high value. But Hamlin can win almost every week, anywhere. Whereas Truex, he struggles at super speedways. He'll have the occasional off week. But at the same time, Truex can just obliterate the field every once in a while. So that's a tough one. Joe Gibbs, Truex, and Hamlin. I can't pick one right now because I just feel like they're almost evenly matched. Wood Brothers, Harrison Burton. Got that one. Rick Ware, Justin Haley. Colleague's complicated because they have so many part-time drivers, but Allmendinger or SVG. I'm sorry, Allmendinger and SVG versus Daniel Hemrick and Derek Kraus and Ty Dillon. What? You're really going to make me make that comparison? I'm just going through them. 2311 Reddick. I feel like we fit most of the teams. I'm going in numerical order. Legacy Motor Club Jones for now. I'll lean Jones. I think I covered everyone. Yeah, I think I covered everyone. Oh, front row, McDowell. And he's about to leave. So then Todd. That was easy. My birthday is on All-Star Race weekend this Sunday. Happy early birthday. Cloudy341 Blade. I hope you have a great birthday. Sometimes I wonder, did Kyle Busch make a bad move going to RCR? Sure, he won 2 to 3 races last year, but outside those wins, eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, and his pit crew is not doing great. It's a valid question. But, I mean, I think it came down to money because, Joe Gibbs gave him an offer, and he didn't take it, and it just escalated from there. So they couldn't get the sponsorship for him, but I'm sure he regrets it a little bit. But ultimately, he got a fresh start. And it's not like 2021 and 2022 were rough years for Kyle, too, or 2020 as well. The championship in 2019, it took him till race 33 to get a win in 2020. 2021, he picked up a couple of wins early, but then just kind of fell off after that. And then 2022, he had the Bristol Dirt win that he kind of lucked into. And other than that, got knocked out in the first round. So, I mean, those last couple of years at Gibbs were rough in terms of the results. So maybe he just truly also wanted a new change. So there's a lot of different ways you could view it. Obviously, from that perspective that you said down there, Cloudy341 Blade. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a valid question, though. I don't know if it's me, but Legacy Motor Club is slowly getting better. Jones and John Hunter Nemechek were in the top 15 before he got spun out, so I can see the improvement slowly getting better and better. Yeah, I'm sure they're in the early stages of learning Toyota, how Toyota works, developing the car, developing the engines, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot for Legacy to learn, but I'm sure by the end of the year they'll be much more competitive. Kyle Busch will always be a Toyota guy to me. Well, he's in a Chevy now. I'm just messing with you. If Airspeed gets a charter, they should hire Kyle Busch. Jordan has no people sponsoring drivers, and he gets free Jordans. And Kyle would be one of the most stylish drivers in the garage. That would be something. I remember, that Kyle Busch saga, the reports were that he was talking to 2311 Racing if he wanted to keep his truck team Toyota, but now he doesn't have that on his back, so... Yeah, if he decided to leave RCR, I guess, but he's in a multi-year deal. He's going to give them a chance, I'm sure, to develop and get better, but I think he said something like he wanted this to be his last destination, so I wouldn't get your hopes up on that, but sure, why not? I guess it's a possibility. Everything's a possibility. If Tyler Reddick can leave a year and a half early for 2311, anything is possible. Ooh. Well, before I forget, I'm going to go through the NASCAR fantasy results, and then we might call that a stream. But I'm going to go through the results, the standings of our fantasy league. If I can get it to load. It's not loading. Here we go. Dan Jets fan continues to lead our fantasy league. Zerkman95 is second. He is only, 27 points behind. Math is hard. Third place is Big Hat LJ. Fourth place is It Factor Autosport Incorporated. RT Racing is fifth. Dr. Zero is sixth. PC_18 is seventh. I'm eighth. I had Reddick and Larson in my lineup. They got stage points, but they just had bad results. Pins_22 is ninth. Otter Bear 8 is 10th. 11th is Hell on Wheels 24. 12th is Matt Smith 53. 13th is Micah MLB 15. 14th is Stevie G. 15th Shane Van Hamburger Buns. And 16th 45 and 2311 fan. And then 17th is Tyler Hernandez. So there's your fantasy standings. Well, I am indeed going to call the stream, but I'm so thankful for everyone, not just watching the stream, but just the support of the channel has been great the past few months, past year or so, however long it's been. I mean, all time. I would argue that the support has been great all time, but the numbers tell me that this past year has been great. So I'm super thankful for all of your support. I'm super thankful to everyone who helped me out this weekend at Darlington, getting me the media credentials, helping me in the media center, helping me getting access. I'm thankful to everyone who talked to me this weekend. Thankful, for taking the time. I know some of it was media obligation, but, still, these drivers, these teams have busy weekends, and for them to take the time out of it to talk to me, I'm just very thankful for it. So I'll try to get that story up tomorrow on SVG. If not, it'll be Friday. I'll keep you updated in the community post. But once again, I'm just extremely thankful. So hope you all have a good race to your evening. We got North Wilkesboro, the All-Star race coming up this weekend.